those videos, like once they're on the internet, like they're there forever, period. Like people can record them, download them, and that's just what it is. So you just never know like how that crash out of you and your feelings or whatever the case may be.
Yo, 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 yo,
Hello,
yo.
hello.
What's up, coworkers?
What's good, coworkers? Welcome back to this week's episode of the We Outside podcast. I'm your host, Dana.
The We Outside podcast.
Oh shit! Why do I do that?
It's okay because
We
for the new subscribers out there, the people who like sharing, commenting, all that good stuff, we are the We Outside After Work
After
podcast.
Work podcast. My bad. I don't know.
She's your host, Dana, and I'm your boy, Aaron. What's up, y'all?
Hey guys, thank you for joining us. How are you, Aaron, today? How you feeling?
I'm cool. I'm cool. It's just been a lot over the last couple of weeks. Just getting ready for high school for my son, and it's just been a lot. So he's being like highly recruited or not recruited. That's not the term I'm supposed to use. He's being highly sought after from some schools in the East Coast, all the way down to Delaware, Pennsylvania, North Jersey. So it's just been a lot of talking, a lot of coaches BSing us, trying to get our son to, go to their school. And it's just navigating these spaces to really be able to communicate for him and advocate for him, and also show him how to advocate for himself. My son he's very quiet, so he doesn't necessarily want to speak up and show any personality sometimes. So on a good tip, I'm there to help him out, but it's also kind of exhausting. So I'm just really happy for him. I'm happy he's able to pursue his dreams. So yeah, that's my check-in.
Okay, shout out to Jaden. I'm sure whichever school you guys choose for him
Education first.
will be the best one possible to enhance his abilities, education wise and athletic wise. So,
Cool.
yeah, shout out to y'all.
What about you?
My check in, all good things as well. I'm navigating a space right now where it's like a pre-phase before, I actually do what I'm doing. And it goes into what I mentioned before. I don't want to say anything too soon because, as we know, when you speak on things too soon, things tend to change. So I'm
Well,
that
time out.
person. I'm that person where things need to be solidified, concrete, and handwritten, signed, stamped, delivered before I mention it.
What happened to the power of the tongue?
It's important, and I speak aloud myself.
Oh, okay. So it's
But I'm
separate
saying
from speaking to everybody. I was just
the
making sure
reason
because we
why
talked
the
about it.
reason why it's separate, I know where you're getting this from because we mentioned this in previous episodes. The reason why it's separate is because these things are literally in progress right now. Like what I'm talking
Mhm.
about is like it's in the phase of being completed, but it's still very fragile. I
Okay.
feel like, anyways. So don't worry, I'm gonna definitely let you know. Probably in about a week. Next time we
Take your time.
record next week, yeah,
What we're
I'll.
gonna do is we're gonna believe in you. We're gonna pray for you, and we will await the future results of positivity, because we got faith in you. So
And
keep
that's
that
all
up.
I need. I need prayers and good energy. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes. As far as another check-in, I would say, I mean, I always feel like there's family things going on, whether it's good or bad. So I would say just trying to navigate that relationship, those dynamics. And
Hmm.
I'm one of those people where like, and tell me if this is a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
I didn't even say it yet. Okay.
Go ahead.
So let me tell you. So when it comes to not knowing how to handle situations, whether it's with family or friends, I do tend to take a step back and try to figure it out myself. And maybe just like how to go forward, I would say, right? So I do not talk to people that I'm low key beefing with
Hmm.
until I feel ready. What do you think about that?
I think we all have our coping mechanisms for how we handle conflict,
Hmm.
but I think sometimes that needs to be addressed. So we both watch Pop the Balloon a lot, and one of the like key questions that they tend to ask is how you handle conflict. And
Yeah.
the fact that you get a myriad of different answers, it tells you that it's not just as simple as what you want and what this person wants. It got to be some kind of collaboration. So if somebody doesn't know you and they think that you're being avoidant and they think that you're being dismissive or distant, then it could be an even further negative. But at the same time, if they know you, if they
Hmm.
communicated that, hey, Dana needs her time to process, they should understand.
And this person knows me, like knows me where I came out of this person.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's like this person is asking other family members, and it's a lot more to that. I'm just trying
Mhm.
to simplify it, but it's to the point where like the person is trying to make it about them, and it was never like it's a little bit about you, but it's really not. Like it's about me and like the stuff I'm dealing with. Like I mentioned about like me making sure things are solidified before I talk about stuff. It goes along with that where like my mind and energy, everything is just full force focused
Mhm.
on this thing being done before I can handle anything else. But that's just like how my brain comprehends
Mhm.
situations. Like I can't just do a million things at once. I gotta
Mhm.
focus on one thing. Then it's like, all right, let me get to you. Then let me do this. So that's just where I'm at.
The funniest part is I literally just had this conversation at work, and it's that some people operate within their own bubble. Even ourselves, right? We have our own bubble where this is where we go, this is how we do things. What you got going on doesn't necessarily affect me or bother my bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your bubble, I'll stay in my bubble. But once you start trying to intersect my bubble and you can potentially pop my bubble, no, now we have a problem. And I don't want to have problems when we can just operate within our bubbles.
Right. And it's just like, stop making things personal. Like, 9 times out of 10, it's not
It's
personal,
not.
not about you. Like, get over yourself. So, but I do think, that comes with time and just maturity for sure. And yeah, it's just, that's where I'm at right now. But to get into an icebreaker that
Mhm.
you wanted to talk about is children,
Yeah,
AKA
teenagers.
teenagers, young
Mhm.
adults, living with their parents and potentially helping out with bills. So, what were your thoughts and why did you want to talk about this?
I had seen this like interesting question on Twitter, and it was like, if you're a teenager and you got a job, shouldn't you be helping out with the bills? And it's like, no. Like, I'm a teenager.
I don't
I
think so.
should be buying Forever 21 jeans or getting my ear pierced or going to the movies with my friends or saving up for a car or saving up for college. Hell, I shouldn't even be doing that, in all honesty. As a teenager, as a child, I should have my money for me. Right? You agree?
I agree. So, I didn't get my first job. I was thankful enough to get my first job in college. Like my sophomore year of college, that's when I got my first job ever. And I worked at the school. So
Mm-hmm.
prior to that, my dad, like he did pay for everything, the cell phone bill, gave me pocket money to go to the mall, whatever I needed, like he would pay for that. And I do think when it comes to a lot of kids, aren't privileged enough to have that experience. They do have to have part time jobs and help out when it comes to bills. But when a child, because they're still a child,
Mm-hmm.
so when a child does start to have those grown up responsibilities, I do think it takes away from their childhood experience and they tend to grow up faster. And
Yep.
I don't think it's like that's kind of necessary if you can help it. And then I do think it kind of falls on the parent and them not doing the things that they need to do prior to having a child or your child being a teenager to where why does your kid have to pay for bills, but then you'll get the flip side where some parents will be like, oh, it's teaching responsibility at a young age and how to manage money. That all can be true, but for them to actually put in for an electric bill and their paycheck is like what,
Two
like
hundred dollars.
$200, Like, why are they taking their $200 to pay for an electric bill?
Now, obviously, we speak from a position of privilege. Not saying that we are privileged, but we were in a position where
I don't
any
think that
job that
should be a privilege, though. Like, I
but
really
I'm speaking on behalf of those who don't have that privilege, right? Those
molestation.
kids who do have to work to contribute and to help pay bills and make sure that their little brother gets to school on time, right? It's kids that have to live these lives.
Can we talk
Um,
about that part? Because you just said something important.
mhm,
When you mentioned have to make sure their little brother or little sister gets to school on time.
yep.
My grandma, she is one of, I want to say eight. I believe it's eight. And that's something that she's mentioned previously. Like now she's 76, thank God. But she's had younger siblings. Like she's the second oldest. And throughout her childhood, she was the eldest who literally had to take care of her siblings just because there were just so many kids. And number one,
Mhm,
like, her parents couldn't manage everybody. And then number two, it was kind of expected. So
mhm,
I think that's another thing that takes away from the childhood. And that's something she does resent low key, where it's like she has those memories of having to be like a mother figure in a way that it took away from her being a kid as
mhm.
well. So the fact that she's older now and that's something she remembers, like as parents, if you can avoid that, I do think you should help with that because it is low key selfish that your child has to do that for you.
And I actually love that you made it a personal reference because it brings us back to that conversation about the bubble, right? How your grandmother feels might be how a whole lot of other older siblings, especially older sisters, might have felt. My grandmother was the oldest of seven, similar to how your grandmother was older of eight. And she kind of internalized that maternity where it was fun for her, where she kind of positioned herself to have a baby at a young age and was prepared and ready and all these kinds of things, right? So everyone's bubble is different. But at the same time, let's not force our children to be in these positions to help, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Nori, go get Ali a bottle because I said so. It's different than you have to do this. Like you
You have
have to
to
take
change
care of
his
your
diaper.
brother,
Like,
right? Like those are options.
mhm.
Like let's operate with options to really help our kids because I don't want my son growing up with resentment because I made him get a job so he can go pay for school. Like that's crazy to me. But everyone's situations is different. So if you do have a teenager, hopefully you let them pocket
If
that
you
little bit
have
of
a if
change.
you have a teenager, let them enjoy their teenage years because it
Hmm.
doesn't last long. Like when I think back to my teenage years, like it went by so fast that there's certain points that I'm like, damn, I forgot that happened just because it flew by. So if you do have teenagers and younger children, give them a little bit more leeway when it comes to them enjoying their those years because I do feel like there are parents too out there who feel like they don't want their teenager to be like have so much independence to the
Hmm.
point where they don't know what they're doing, you know what I mean? So I do think like there are levels to having a teenage child, but for the most part when it comes to taking care of your younger child, don't put that responsibility on them if you can avoid it.
Yeah, stop having kids too. Fuck with these.
Not having
FPK. Fuck them kids. Nah, let me stop.
yeah. All right, let's talk about crash out culture.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Is it here to stay? Whether it's a job, relationship, attempts to go viral, is it too socially acceptable to crash out today? Um, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started hearing the word crash out, I didn't know what it meant.
You know
I'm like,
now.
I'm like, what the hell is a crash out? I heard it. I think the first time I ever heard it was on Kai Cenat's live.
Mhm.
I forgot who he was doing the live with, but I was like, what does that mean? And then I started seeing like, how the algorithm does. Like they hear you say something on Instagram and then you
Mhm.
start seeing reels based on that. So yeah, what do you think about crash out? Like what are your thoughts?
I really think that people take this opportunity to go viral. Like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And while I understand that some moments elicit this level of rage or response or whatever, like, you gotta live with that.
Was
Like,
there
it's people.
a specific video that you saw?
Well, personally, the Jess Hilarious video that I just watched, to me, that was a crash out. Like, with all due respect, you are sitting on one of the largest digital platforms on the planet, off of Instagram. Like,
What was
you
the, for the people who don't know what you're talking about? Like, give us a little bit of what it happened.
all right. Well, Jess Hilarious. She did a what is it? A couple guest spots on the Breakfast Club when Angela Yee left, and she ended up getting a job as the third host on the Breakfast Club. Within that time frame, she ended up getting pregnant on purpose, and she went out for maternity leave. Now, in the process of being out, Lauren LaRosa, who formerly worked at TMZ and did a couple guest spots also, she kind of swooped in, filled in, and did a good enough job that they wanted to keep her.
Hmm.
Now, I guess they didn't tell Jess about this, so it was kind of like awkward. You got four people in the booth when it's supposed to be a three-man show, and she started reading the internet, getting a little too busy in these comments.
Hmm.
And then on what was it, the 18th,
That was yesterday.
yesterday, she decided that she was going to air it out. Airing out your grievances on a public platform when you work for a public platform is a crash out.
That was a
Um,
good show.
let's find a different way to be diplomatic. Let's be
Hmm.
amicable. Let's find a different way. Not what the fuck she did. 11 minutes that I
Her,
can't get back.
you watched the 11? Yeah, I did watch the whole thing on YouTube, but I know one of her responses of why she did it like that was because she was like, "Well, I am a social media personality,"
Hmm.
and she puts things on social media, so that was her way of expressing herself to her followers, which I don't find acceptable, only because number one, everyone knows where you work at,
Hmm.
right? Number two, when it comes to business in particular, I do think it is more um like it's more professional to have the conversation behind the scenes, negotiate contracts, like have those conversations not in front of the world. You know what I mean? And I do think it goes back to what we were saying before. And I don't think she in particular, falls under this all the time. But when it does come to like lack of professionalism, and companies hiring people based off their social media following and that younger mindset, it's like they would much rather crash out online
Hmm.
instead of having those grown conversations. But apparently they were had, and she just felt she wasn't heard, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to crash outs, and from what you're saying, I do think attention nowadays, as everyone knows, is a hell of a drug. Like that's the number
Hmm.
one drug of choice. Attention. It's like, what can I do to get a lot of people to follow my page, like my videos, go viral? But then I think you have to look at the long term, is because like those videos, like once they're on the internet, like they're there forever. Period. Like people can record them, download them, and that's just what it is. So you just never know like how that crash out of you and your feelings or whatever the case may be will be negatively affecting you in the long run.
And on top of that, you don't know how it can affect you positively either, right? Like some of the historical crash outs that we've seen. Let's use I don't know if you ever heard of Tanya Harding. You ever heard of Tanya Harding?
Break.
So she was a figure skater and she ended up hiring somebody to hit another figure skater with a baton, right? Um,
You
she
said
crashed
figure
out.
skater?
Yeah, she's a figure skater. This happened in the 90s.
Oh,
So she crashed out, right? Now we do know her for being the woman who hired somebody to beat another figure skater. We don't know her for her awesome
how
figure
is that a
skating.
positive?
because the only positive that came from that is now you can be on The Surreal Life on VH1, or you can be on Villains, or one of these offshoot reality shows that's
Yeah.
going to highlight people that have negative
You have
connotation.
an opportunity.
But that's it. Like she don't have any opportunities in figure skating. She don't have any opportunities for the Winter Olympics. Like all the things that probably could have came her way had she just relaxed. Now it's not going to come your way. Just hilarious as an individual, right? And I don't mean to make this podcast about her, but her as an individual was a rising star. Whether you found her funny or not, she was a rising star. Her Instagram engagement, her Twitter, her YouTube shows that she was trending in the right direction. But now you got to the point where we can't trust you. Like if things don't go right, are you going to jump on the internet and say F this and F that and F y'all? Like I don't
Yeah,
want to
for
work with that.
any future deals, I do think that is something a company is going to take into account. Where it's like, oh, remember that happened on the Breakfast Club, and we got this whole video because, everybody going to talk about this for the next probably like week. You will hear this
That's
conversation.
it. Crashed out for a week.
Right. And it's just going to have that stain where, I'm sure she'll be good because, she is a comedian. She got different things that she does.
Uh,
No, she does. She has other business ventures. I don't know if they're paying as much as the Breakfast Club. Allegedly, the
was
amount
it three
they get
hundred thousand?
paid is closer to a mil.
Oh, okay. I heard 300.
Yeah. Um, but nonetheless, like the whole crash out thing for me, it's just again sharing too much online, like privacy is peace, and once you start opening the door up for the world to know your business, I don't know, that just never sat well with me. Like I don't like
Mhm.
that.
It's hard though because she got on the internet. She got on with being forward
For
and
her,
upfront,
if that
right?
works for her, but for me
But
personally, that's just too much.
it's like how much is enough, right? We've seen you air out too many grievances. Like you talking about Shaq and his women and all these kind of random things that people don't need to know. But you didn't even pass that off to him. Like, hey, I'm gonna talk about this on the Breakfast Club. That's cool with you. Like you're burning bridges. And the
I
one
don't think it
thing
was a burnt bridge because
it
apparently,
could be,
like he invited her back over the next night.
yeah, but it wasn't the next night after the Breakfast Club. It was the next night after she was there, right?
He's still no. It was the next night after the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Like after she said,
Okay. I apologize, less hilarious. But you're potentially burning bridges in an environment, whether it's the movies, the music scene, the comedy scene, whether it's tech, whether it's working at ShopRite, relationships matter. Like who we know can get us to a lot of different places, but it can also get you out of a lot of different places. So I would hope that we maintain positive relationships, that if Envy and Charlemagne weren't giving you that proper footing, that you can be able to talk to them as brothers and say, hey, let me pull you aside. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I've
yeah,
done that. I've done that with people where it's like, hey, this don't feel right. How do you feel about it?
and to add to what you just said, when it comes to relationships, that was one of the workshops they had for the high school student girls last week when I did the financial literacy workshop. The other one was navigating and networking in different spaces. So
Mm-hmm.
just teaching young girls how to network and how to talk to people and just put yourself out there because you never really know what opportunity that may lead to. And just to switch gears a little bit when it comes to Jess Hilarious and like why she left and maternity leave because she was
Mm-hmm.
pregnant. So that leads us into our next topic, which is should maternity, which is
This is why she got kicked off the Breakfast Club now. She couldn't
because
read
you
now.
can't read. I can read. First of all, I have
I'm
a
sure she could read
I have
too.
a speech impediment, and I
Mhm.
told you about this a couple years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Just
sorry
Hilarious does too.
it comes in the way at times, and I'm not editing this episode either,
That's
so
cool. That's cool.
I'm gonna keep it in. Yeah, so maternity leave should or shouldn't come with job security. What the fuck? If they find better talent, should you be replaced? That is horrible. Let me just
How?
start there. Okay, so let's break this down. For example, right? Not even for example, in life, women have to carry the child, right? Like the child is growing in the mother's womb for about 9 months. And in those 9 months, there are a lot of extremes happening. There are extremes happening with your emotions. There are a lot of extremes physically. Some women, they do get preeclampsia, they'll get other ailments associated to pregnancy and procreating a child. So, with that being said, that is a huge responsibility as a woman. Okay. So, I do think, honestly and truly, like I was thinking about this like last year, where I feel like it is not fair that women have to go to work on their period. Okay. If you really want to break it down, not
We
as
can go there.
not as extreme as maternity leave because that's different, but even with the period thing, it's natural, we cannot control that, and it's just like the way it hits you hard every month. So we probably get a good 2 weeks out of the month where like we're happy, we feel normal, and we're just in a great mood. So when it comes to periods, knowing that your emotions are fluctuating, you're bloated, you got things coming out your body, fluids, there's a lot happening. So in that time, I do think we should have more PTO than men. Yep, I'm saying it. And we should definitely just have that time to ourselves to let Mother Nature take its course. What are your thoughts?
If I was ever negotiating for red pill, manosphere type of talk, I would just let you say it. Like, why would I want to hire a woman if all of those negative downsides come with it?
It's nature, though. We cannot control
I'm
it.
not disagreeing with nature, but I believe the patriarchy, and I'm not defending the patriarchy,
You
but
are defending it.
I'm not. I'm just going to express what I believe the patriarchy represents. It represents men going to work for these very same reasons. We don't have those same fluctuations. We don't
You
need that
don't,
leave of
which is sad.
absence. We don't need those things. So if for whatever reason we did have to miss 3 to 4 to 6 months of work to take care of our child, there would be somebody replacing us. If we was on the field putting up telephone poles and we couldn't work for 6 months, guess what they're gonna find? Somebody to work for 6 months. And if they're better than us, you will be laid off. And that's not an excuse. That's not trying to like make it seem like that's unfair because it's reality. With all due respect, Jess took her time. She got pregnant in a position where she probably shouldn't have. She should have established a rapport, established the chemistry,
I mean,
did
she
none
was
of those
there up
things.
until what last was it summer? Last summer?
She started in March. She was there for 3, 4 months
Yeah.
and then was out.
Apparently, she knew Charlemagne prior to the Breakfast Club, but that's like off camera. I
But that
understand.
doesn't establish chemistry.
Okay, so let's just keep it at maternity leave then, because I took it to a whole nother
But
field.
I don't disagree with you. I do believe that women probably do need more in regards to
Because
this.
when you're talking about equality, right? It's not equal. Like it's really not equal. And you can even break it down to when people say 50-50 in a relationship. Like
Mhm.
it's never equal,
But how do you make that fair to a man?
regardless of how you try to spin it in your head. When it comes to what we deal with and the way it's not equal, like just through mother nature, it's not equal. Like as a man, you do not deal with this, period. Like that's just what it is.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, when it comes to the work life and corporate, because you don't deal with this, you don't need those extra days. So, give us those extra
But
days.
we don't ask for those.
We don't ask for it either. But I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying.
if I'm breaking it down to where you're talking about equality and you're not getting a period every month, like
Mhm.
that in itself is just not equal. And what we deal with creating and procreating and being able to procreate as women. It's just not equal. Like we go through more shit, period. So I think it should be taken under consideration from corporate America that give women more PTO because it's already not equal. So just so that they can be in a better headspace coming back to work, or even give them those remote settings if possible, keyword. And that's just what it is. Like, it may not be equal to you, but in our mind, we know all the things that we deal with anyway. So it is equal. So I think we still are just not being considered when it comes to corporate America. That's just how I feel.
So let's say y'all are being considered. Let's say hypothetically that y'all are. In what way do we then have those same conversations pertaining to men? Do we just
Tell
say,
me,
y'all are men, y'all got to deal with it?
what do men want? Like,
We don't want anything.
what in your mind would equate to women getting periods every month and just having that extra time through those moments that we're dealing with?
So the way that I see it is we don't care. Not that y'all don't have periods, but we don't care if y'all need the time off. We don't care if y'all
I
need
know that's
a
the problem.
moment. Hold on, time out. The thing is, in 24 hours, the job got to get done. So if y'all aren't there to do the job, we shouldn't reward you for being
I would
absent.
say in the beginning, this is all hypothetical. Like, this is in my fairy tale life what I would like,
No,
right?
I think this is what a lot of people would like, and I don't disagree with it.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if organizations were built truly based off equality when it comes to male and female and what we deal with naturally, it would look completely different when it came to catering to women and catering to men equally. But it was not like that. Like, in the beginning, it was solely based off men because they were going to work while women were at home the majority of the time taking care of the family,
All
right?
the
Like,
PTO you need.
most women didn't work. And you see how that turned out, right?
It turned out wonderfully.
No,
How
it
did
did
it turn
not.
out?
Because there were a lot of people in miserable relationships. Talk to, like, have you talked to older people and like
I have.
grandparents?
Most
And
grandparents that I know are still together.
most grandparents that I know, they're either divorced or they have a lot of things they had to go through to get to this point in life, which is
Did
a
that
lot of
change?
suffering. And I do feel like there are stories where I've heard women staying with men because, for the most part, financially, they cannot take care of themselves because they were stay at home mothers. So, with that being said, in the beginning, it was solely based around men. So now, as women, we're coming into this workforce and we're trying to navigate all the things that we already got to deal with. On top of, there are mothers, there's periods, there are women who are trying to create a family while balancing work life. So,
You know
no,
what?
I don't think it's equal.
I believe I found the equal solution. You ready?
It's going to be some bullshit, but go ahead.
It's not. It's part time work, right?
It's not feasible.
Yeah, see, you're asking for a lot. You
I'm
want me
not.
to
It's not.
accommodate you. Time
How
out,
is
time out, time out, time
how
out,
is
time
that
out.
part-time work? You're gonna get part-time pay, right?
You're working
So
part
with
time.
the single mothers who they have children they have to feed. So how are they gonna pay for their bills, groceries, car, XYZ on a part-time job?
Make better pussy decisions.
That's how you feel.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but everything that
You're changing the goalposts. Like, we're talking
I'm
about
not.
work,
We are
corporate,
talking about we.
not
If
the
Jess
decisions they already made.
if Jess Hilarious wanted to have a baby, knowing that she was going to leave this company within the next few months to take care of said baby, she should have applied part time and continued to be a co-host, and none of this stuff would have happened. She would
See,
have been able to sprinkle in her little Jess with the mess. She could have did it from home.
for me, I like, if we're just talking about Jess Hilarious and the situation with the Breakfast Club, from the beginning, I knew Lauren LaRosa had it. Like, I knew she was the perfect fit based off when, like you mentioned, she would do the guest co-hosting when they was
Mhm.
trying out everybody, and the conversation just flowed better with her. So when they chose Just Hilarious, for me, like, that never made sense. Just because she was a personality and she was a comedian. And Lauren obviously was a journalist, right? And that's just like what she did. So for me, like the way things are panning out now, I feel like shit was gonna hit the fan regardless because they chose the wrong person. That's how I feel.
I don't know if they chose the wrong person or chose what they felt fit. But the thing is,
I think it
you
was
ever
nepotism.
you ever got a new job, and when you first started, you was all excited. And you thought that shit was just gonna be the job, like you was gonna do this for the rest of your life. And
No,
then after a couple of weeks, it's like,
I never thought that.
eh, eh, do I even want this job? Like,
But I know that excitement that you're talking about. Yes, like I've
but
definitely been there.
that's what it was. It was like, oh, we finally landed the one that we wanted, and we probably should have hired that one. Like it happens all the time where you miss out on a quality candidate, but they just so happened to hire them both. And Jess left because of her circumstances on purpose, and Lauren, she next man up. Like if it's no difference if I'm an NBA player, right? I'm trying to think of a really good one. You know who Paul George is?
Hmm.
So Paul George, when he came to the NBA, he was coming off the bench, right? And it was a guy. His name was Danny Granger, all star. He was just as good, if not better, than some of the other guys like LeBron and Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony. Right? They all in that same era. Do get hurt. Next thing you know, Paul George swoops in. You don't even know who Danny Granger is. Danny Granger was one of the coldest dudes in basketball. But guess what? Your opportunity to surpass you and somebody better assumed the mantle. You got to live with that. That's called the meritocracy. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think
But
that's two separate conversations.
what I do believe that we need to touch base on is the internet, though. Like I know we talk about the internets all the time in terms of like, is it real and whatnot. But when it comes to these comments and the people with shit to say, that's they're literally rage baiting people on the internet.
Hmm.
Should you engage? Should you discuss it? Is it bad for your brand? Like, how do you feel about it?
I think we talked about this a little bit a couple episodes ago about being
Mm-hmm.
polarizing
Mm-hmm.
and your content just sparking conversation. I think most brands, that's what they want, right? Like you want that clip that's under 30 seconds
Mm-hmm.
to organically hit millions of people. Like we've done that multiple times and we've seen the influx of like 500 to 1,000 comments come
Mm-hmm.
in. We still have a reel going crazy on YouTube, well, short going crazy on YouTube because it sparked something people can relate to and have a conversation about. And they were a mixture. There were a lot
Mm-hmm.
of negative comments, a lot of positive comments, but it's all based off that person's experience, based off what they're seeing and what you're saying. So, with that being said, like I don't think online is a real place.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's a fake fantasy space where you should not take things personal. Just like we mentioned, not taking things personal in real life, you definitely shouldn't take things personal online because people are looking for something to spark conversation. Like now, this whole just hilarious crash out is going to be the conversation on
Mm-hmm.
podcasts and different platforms for the next few days. So now people have something to talk about, and you'll get the negative views, the positive views of people who are just indifferent, who don't really give a fuck. So, as the person putting out the content, no, like I don't think you should let it bother you. At first, with us, like when we first experienced going viral, like it did make me feel a way
Mm-hmm.
because I've never experienced that before, where it was so many people who don't know you just having opinions on what you're saying. But then you have to think like, well, that's the point of social media is to spark conversation and increase engagement, whether it is positive or negative. So no, and that actually reminds me of I've seen a few people on YouTube making videos about Kim Kardashian. Like she recently did a photo shoot where she was promoting Tesla. Like she had a photo shoot with the robot and then the Cybertruck as well. But what people fail to realize is she's always been a brand ambassador of
Hmm.
Tesla. Like that's actually a gift she gives her friends and family for birthdays is like Cybertrucks or like Tesla something because I'm sure she gets a cut of whatever she sells. Like that's just how those brand deals work. And one of the YouTubers I was watching, Jessie Wu, shout out to her. I love her content. It's very entertaining. But she was saying how Kim Kardashian is very tone deaf because of what's happening with Tesla now, with like the dealerships, people protesting, and even like setting the Tesla cars on fire. And then now, like a couple days ago, Kim Kardashian comes out with this whole photo shoot spread promoting Tesla. So it's like, why would you do that in the midst of everything happening? But the thing with the Kardashians, which this is how they've become millionaires in my mind, is when it comes to just putting out pictures and photo shoots and stuff like that. Like they
Videos.
love the polarization. Like they love that shit, whether it is good or bad. Like they're just
Hmm.
always the topic of conversation. And I think that's how you stay relevant. So I
Yep.
think they have mastered that skill to the point where people think, oh, they should read the room XYZ, but it's like you're talking about them.
I'm super big on negativity right now. Not like I'm investing in it, but I'm paying attention to it, right? The things that are really captivating this world is all the shit that shouldn't. Kanye West is like going to another level of being an asshole,
Hmm.
but you can't turn it off.
I
And it's
don't.
like he took the playbook from the Kardashians. And it's like, why don't I just get as negative as humanly possible? And guess what it's going to do? It's going to appeal to a lot of people and it's going to piss off the others. In the middle is no apathy. Everybody gives a fuck. We got to learn how to not give a fuck.
They
And
was
I had to
married
learn
for a
this.
reason.
I had to
They
learn this.
Yeah. I just want to mention because you mentioned Kanye West and I said Kim Kardashian, like
Mhm.
they was married for a reason, and I do think that may have been a common
I don't
thing
think it
where
was love.
it could have been love too, but I'm just saying like they've done different things together publicly to make money. So I think both of them are brilliant in that way. So go ahead.
So one of our first reels that kind of like took off. I don't know what the comments were. I don't even know what the video was about, but it was a bunch of people calling me a simp, simp this, simp that, simp, simp, simp. So if you know me from the internet, I engage. Bring it on. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's go.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm doing it off the podcast page. So I'm just 100% into it. Like, oh, this is fun. Give me all you got. So my homeboy, he hit me up. He's like, yo, I understand why you're doing that, but that doesn't look good for y'all brand if y'all just gonna engage with every single negative comment. If anything, give them nothing. Not saying like not responding, but if you're gonna respond, respond like a business does on Yelp. It's a negative review. Give them a generic response. Let them know that they're heard. Let them know that you'll be able to assist with them. But you don't tell them "fuck you, you're wrong." You just have to be diplomatic about it. And I feel like everyone on this internet
Hmm.
is taking that crash out approach, where it's like "fuck that, you ain't about to get one off on me. I'm going to get you back." And I'm not letting up until my point is heard. But at the end of the day, you're talking to a fucking wall. These people don't even be real people. Half the time, if they find out that you're talking about them, they're gonna be happy. Like, look, LeBron James just tweeted me. Like, you're a weirdo. You're a loser.
Yeah, I think
That's the internet.
that is the culture when we talk about crash out culture, cancel culture, negativity culture is at an all-time high where people are just looking for something negative to just spark up and then like the whole forest on fire. So, yeah, I agree.
Prayers to California and Oklahoma City. I think they just had a forest fire. So,
Oh, praise go out
yeah.
to them. All
But
right.
isn't it? You're
So
talking
we
about
have
Love Is
one
Blind or
more
something?
thing. Yeah, one more thing we want to talk about, which
Oh, it's
I
not Love Is Blind.
no, we're talking about Temptation Island. Now, Netflix always recommends these dating shows to me because I do watch the Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, and I actually found out that the person who produces Love is Blind also produces Married at First Sight.
Hmm.
So that made sense to me because I'm like, these shows are so similar. Like, it gotta be somebody who's like working for both of them. So yeah, they're produced by the same person. I'm not gonna say their name because like allegedly he's an asshole. Um, but
Oh, Nick
nonetheless,
Lachey?
no, he is
Oh,
just a host. So the show is Temptation Island. And the purpose of the show is for couples to go on the show and they're kind of at a turning point in their relationship to where it's like, all right, we're going to be together and get married at the end, or we're going to be single and split up. Or if I meet someone on the island that I end up building a connection with, I'm going to leave the island with them. So there were, I believe it was about five couples on the last season, or the first season on Netflix, but they've had previous seasons on
hmm.
Peacock, which I'm going to watch when we're done.
I wonder how.
Oh, you have? Okay, so you know.
Well, no, I have Peacock.
Oh, I thought you meant like I already watched.
No, you watch my Peacock because
Let's not, okay? Yeah, I watched your app, whatever.
not
Um,
like that.
Definitely not like that. So yeah, the purpose of the show is, couples go on there. So there was one particular couple, Shantae and Breon. If you watch the show, you already know what I'm about to say. So this younger black couple, Breon is fine. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he is the type that I usually go for, just to put it in
So
perspective.
Breon is not a girl.
No, Brian is the guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Tatted up, nice body, very clean cut, nice smile. I think he's from Atlanta. He's like 6'5", like he's fine. And then his girlfriend, Shantae, you can just you can get the gist of, like, at least I can, of when they first were introduced. She gives very like timid, meek, don't really like want to say too much, ruffle feathers because she doesn't want to lose him. Like, that's what I got just off the simple initial introduction. So in the beginning, like, all the guys come out that's going to be living with the girlfriends in the house. And then all the girls come out that's going to be living with the boyfriends in the house. So I believe they're here for a total of maybe about a month. I haven't looked that up. But nonetheless, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because the guy, Breon, he's the
Hmm.
main one who, like, just did the ultimate cheating that I think. Like, he was one of the three who cheated, but nonetheless, he was the one who did a threesome in the bathroom, caught it on camera, and then throughout the experience, the other person gets to see like a video clip of what their girlfriend or boyfriend is doing in the house. So his girlfriend Shantae, she sees the clip of him having this threesome in the bathroom with these two girls in the house. And at first, she was just on some like, oh, he said he likes threesomes. So, um, I'm surprised and hurt and I feel disrespected, but this isn't something that is new, right?
Hmm.
And then it cuts to them going back to the house and she's breaking down crying, taking off the jewelry that he bought her, XYZ.
It's
So
hers.
in this moment, like, he also says after he did the threesome, he's like, oh, basically, like, he knows she's gonna forgive her, so it's like he don't care, like he don't got no remorse or anything. And then at the end, they can choose if they want to leave with their partner or they go separate. So the girl Shantae, she ends up making it look like, oh, she's gonna leave by herself and just be independent. She learned a lot about herself being on the island. And he's on some like, oh, I'm sorry, I love you so much, and like, now I know you're the person I want to be with. So they end up leaving together.
Good.
And
I
I'm
like it.
just like women like this make me want to scratch my eyeballs out
Why?
because it's like, like you could just tell he's done this before. Cause it gets more in depth to where he brings in religion and like him being Christian and like it's a lot. So you gotta watch the show. I don't want to give it all away.
It's,
But I know. Yeah, whatever.
I watch those kind of shows, so I'm cool with it. I watch it.
Yeah, check it out when you get a chance.
I have opinions, but I'll wait.
Yeah, so the reason why I said women like this make me want to scratch my eyes out was because you can just tell that he's done this before. He's probably said all the things to make her forgive him, and he comes crawling back, but then does the same thing over and over and like continues to break her heart and just make her feel worthless. And I don't think she has enough courage to move on or think she can like find someone who allegedly would treat her the same. Like, girl, there's like so much more out there that I feel like your comfortability in this trauma bonding, we mentioned that because that is something he talked about his childhood and up until he was 17 he's been abused. I'm sure there's some connection between them of why she's dealing with that for so long. But yeah, um, I didn't like it. What are your thoughts?
So the easy Aaron answer is cheating doesn't necessarily make you a good person or a bad person. It just means you're interested in other people to have sex with, right? So you can navigate different spaces to forgive somebody for cheating on you. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, a lot of these things, like you can navigate spaces to forgive people. What I gathered from this conversation, and you said it towards the tail end, is his own abuse, right? Maybe this woman recognizes that these are uncontrollable aspects of this person's personality because he's been through some shit. He's been through a life where maybe that makes him feel whole. Maybe that makes him feel validated and appreciated. Maybe that's just something that he can't get off of because that's fun for him. And it doesn't circumvent their relationship at all, actually. Um, and as somebody who's been through some of these similar situations, you never really mess with somebody else because of what you're currently dealing with. Some people do. I can't speak for everybody. I'll speak for me. It's not necessarily always a coping mechanism. It's sometimes it's an addiction, or it's a fleeting feeling, or it's just the life that you always dreamed to have, and now all of a sudden you have the opportunity. People go through these things. So now this man is able to be on TV. He's able to have this moment. He's able to live in a house where essentially he has the autonomy to mess with these other girls and make a choice. That's literally what the house is for. You're putting a rat into a experiment and acting like the rat's not supposed to chase the cheese. He chose the
So
cheese.
when it comes to the show, it is based off their own journeys, right? Like they are separated from their partner. They're in a house because they're going to be tempted from other women or men. These couples, they set their own boundaries with each other prior to them going into the house. So according to Shantae and Brian, their boundary was any type of physical things with the person and the other person in the
Yeah, of
house.
course.
So my issue comes when what you mentioned, all the things about the guy Brian and what he may be going through, XYZ, whatever, it doesn't make him a bad person. Fine. I'm saying with her specifically, with her as a woman and like her on her own journey, and you could tell that she was just making excuses for his disrespect of her because all of the things you're going to be doing is still going to be shown to your girlfriend or boyfriend. Like that's something that they know is going to happen. So with that being said, it's like, she's going to see all of this, regardless if you're doing it because, oh, it doesn't mean nothing. She's still going to see it. So when she sees that, like you can tell she was trying to build up, like in the show you can just see she was trying to build up the courage to leave by herself, and whatever he said that he knows to trigger her into taking him back, that's literally what happened. So I just felt bad for her in that moment because I'm like, damn, like just watching it from the outside, like I just feel bad because you could tell that self-respect and
Mhm.
self-love just isn't to that point that she wants it to be, because she was gonna walk away and go home by herself. So it was just really sad to see.
The beautiful thing is so many people abide by rules or create rules, right? Like, you know how many women I've met with a 90-day rule? You know how many women I've met who didn't follow their own 90-day rule? Like, people have put boundaries in place and put guidelines in place to try to circumvent them from getting to certain places. But at the end of the day, it's a reason that temptation exists. Temptation doesn't exist because we're not supposed to take it. That's why it exists. We're supposed to take it. So stop putting people in
I
these
don't think so.
stupid decisions to try to avoid what we want. Like, if you gave me $1 million in front of my face, but I had to do something bad to get it, and I could get away with doing something bad to get it, I probably would take the $1 million.
I think it depends on, when we're talking solely on relationships and commitment to another person. There
If
was
Chris
another
Brown was right in front
there
of
was
them,
another couple on there. First of all, I'm single, so I don't have
if
a.
you was in a relationship and Chris Brown was like, "Hey, what's up?"
I would respect my partner. Okay,
Okay, it's
but
it's easy to say that.
let me say this one point. One point.
Go ahead.
So there was another guy in the house as well, and he ended up proposing to his girlfriend at the end.
Nope,
They
she said
In
no.
the houses they end up making friends with the temptation there, like the person that was supposed to tempt them, make them want to do something. They knew exactly who they wanted to be with. They knew exactly like the similar goals and intentions that each other set. Like they set those boundaries too. So you got to see that point of view where this couple was like, we're going to go through this experience, and based off how things end, we're going to move forward in our relationship. And what that looked like for them was marriage. So that's what happened. So I think it just depends on what your relationship looks like for each other. And if I'm not saying like him having that threesome is a bad thing. It's a bad thing because you still had a girlfriend you were
Mhm.
committed to and said you wouldn't do anything, and then you ended up doing something where she saw and got hurt, and then you ended up manipulating her at the end to leaving with you instead of her leaving by herself.
How's that? I'm not even going to touch base with that false pretense of manipulation.
It's
What I'm
not,
going to say. What
because
I'm going to say.
at
Hold
the
on,
end,
hold on.
no, 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 no,
Let
no.
that go.
You can't say that and then be like, what I'm gonna say? Like, no, we're not gonna switch the topic. Like, you could, the last episode, if you don't even watch the show, watch the last episode, episode 10. Okay, it's the first scene, and you just automatically know what's going on.
It's not manipulation. What I'm going to say, and I'll use the individual who got married and proposed and all that good stuff, right? What if his temptation just wasn't tempting enough? What if his temptation just didn't adhere to the things that would make him buck from
There
his
was
temp?
a girl on there that he literally told. The girl's name was Alexa. He was like, "You're my type," and they was at a
Mhm.
bar. They was at the bar drinking. She's looking at him, giving him like those lustful eyes, and he was giving them to her. But he had that inner discipline, okay? Because that is the word of the year. Discipline, to be like, I know this girl will tempt me even more if I stay here longer and I leave with her. He already knew what would happen because he ended up telling her. And then at the end, his girlfriend, she's seen a clip of her at the bar, and she was like, "Did you do anything with the girl?" And he was like, "No, I went home and went to sleep," which he actually did.
And most men would still get in trouble for even getting to that point. So the best thing to do is just go to the finish line, my brother. At the end of the day, you go to the strip club. Them girls treat you the same exact way. You got your lusty eyes. I got my lusty eyes. You telling me everything I want to hear. Oh, thank you, Star. I love you, Star. Can I take you home, Star? No, okay. I'm going home on
That's
my own.
different. Because
That's
if
not
you give
different.
them
That's how it works.
$200,
Yeah,
we've seen P Valley, we've
I've
seen
never seen
Beauty
P-Valley.
in Black.
No.
We know what happens.
Oh,
We
no,
know
the
what
shows.
happens in the strip clubs.
And I've seen Players Club. That's about it.
Mm.
But for those who want to watch even more episodes of the We Outside After Work podcast or even join this show, y'all can always hit us up at our Gmail,
Mhm.
WOAW pod at gmail.com. So that
Yeah.
way we can get another wonderful face into our place, because that would be dope.
Yeah, we would appreciate that. But I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy these one-on-one conversations because I
It's
do
because it's
think
us. We
it's us. We,
Mhm.
we be vibing, but I think like it's just different energy with the guests. Like we mentioned in the last episode, your
Mhm.
aura speaks for you.
Yep.
You never
Hush,
know what
hush,
you're
hush,
gonna get.
hush, hush. I was just mess with you.
This is
What?
why we're gonna end it and not even do a happy hour moment because I don't care anymore. I'm ready to
That's
go.
what Jess did to Lauren. I just wanted to see if I could do
No,
it to
she
you,
said,
baby.
"Shut up."
Now she told her to shut up too. Damn, that's rude.
Oh, I think she told him to shut. I don't know. All right. Do you want to do a happy hour moment?
Do I have a happy hour moment? I ain't have a drink, so it's
I don't
kind of.
think we've ever skipped a happy hour moment. We're not about to start now.
All right, so you go first.
Okay. My happy hour moment is today is Wednesday. Yeah, just waiting until everything is solidified so that I can share it with family, friends, coworkers, like y'all listening and watching. So that should hopefully be in the next episode when we record. And also too, it's sort of a happy hour moment, but I just want to mention it, not really. The real estate guy on Instagram, the bald one, South Jersey. Okay, I don't know his name, but
Is it
he hit me
Ryan?
up today. He's like a real estate, the guy with the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, apparently he's doing a networking party next month on the 25th, and he invited me, and it's
Oh, he
free.
ain't invite me.
He's like, bring whoever you want. So
I'll pull up.
yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. I could send you the link, but I may be in Arizona that weekend for Easter. So
Yeah. Oh, wait, we talking about the same guy, or we talking about Lenny?
who?
Lenny from the professor. Anywho's,
He don't live in
um,
Jersey. Remember you went to the podcast
yeah, yeah, yeah.
studio? His studio, that guy.
It's another party that same day, so we both
Okay.
got private invites. So
Yeah. I'm not going, but I just thought it was nice that he invited me
he,
because we be chatting
but
here and there.
I do think we should go visit him, depending on how close you are to his spot,
His
because
bar.
his
I already
his his
checked.
setup is type dope. But I don't
I
want to
would
mention
I
his
would
place.
drive out there though, like one Friday or something. Saturday. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. My happy hour moment is I've actually been at my current employer for just over a year now. I just crossed my anniversary date. And I look back at my history of employment, and I used to be working at jobs for like 3 months, 6 months. And I would never get promoted and different things like that. So I used to always tell myself, like, I would really love a place if I could just make it to a year. If I could make it to 2 to 5 to 10, that makes you feel like you belong somewhere. Um, and when people put trust in you and put you in positions to really do big things, just watch out. Like I'm very ambitious these days, so expect bigger, better, badder. Especially when it comes to this podcast, because
Mm-hmm.
we only getting started, so like
Yeah,
I
we're
promise you.
still in the infancy stage. But yeah, that's dope. I mean, I can relate to what you just said because for me, my limit has always been about, I want to say 2 years at an
Hmm.
employer. So I do want to hit that 5 year threshold and then I want to retire because I'm going to be trading full time. So that's my ultimate goal. But I do think there is a sense of belonging when you are at an employer longer than 2 years. So that is a great accomplishment. We just live in a world where retiring at a company until you're 65 just is not feasible for the most part. Um, but yeah, I don't want to go into a whole nother conversation. We are at the end.
Hmm.
This was a great conversation, Erin, as always. So, guys, thank you for talking with us for the past hour. And on that note,
We outside.
we out.